Every workplace has a breaking point. Mine happened in one sentence spoken loud enough for everyone to hear. For 5 years, I thought I understood how to survive in corporate America. Work hard. Let your results speak for themselves. Be patient. Stay humble. Don't rock the boat. Except, nobody warns you what to do when the person steering the boat actively drills holes into it, for sport. My manager, Tyler, wasn't the worst person I'd known, but he was the worst leader I'd ever dealt with. He had this polished but empty confidence, the type that fooled upper management and intimidated junior staff. He could smile and sneer in the same expression. He was charming when he wanted something. Petty when he didn't. And the worst part? He liked power. Not responsibility. Not accountability. Just power. And when someone like that feels threatened, even by a person quietly exceeding expectations, they tend to get reckless. That's exactly what happened the day he told me, loud enough for the entire meeting room to hear. "If you think you're so good, then go work over there." And he pointed at the skyscraper across the street. Luminex Data Solutions. Our biggest competitor. The room fell silent. My heartbeat didn't. The climate before the storm. Before that infamous meeting, I had been dealing with Tyler's microaggressions for months. They weren't dramatic enough to take to HR, but they ate away at me. Snide comments about my perfectionism. Public corrections that weren't actual errors. Assigning me work meant for 2 or 3 people. Praise in private, conflict in public. Subtle reminders like, "Don't forget, anyone can be replaced." It wasn't bullying. Not in a way that could be measured. It was erosion. The kind of erosion that strips away joy and confidence until you feel guilty for even wanting respect. Still, I stayed because I believed that work ethic could overcome politics. That results could overcome favoritism. That character could overcome manipulation. But Tyler wasn't competing with my work. He was competing with my potential. And he wanted to win. The Thursday meeting, the breaking point. The conference room was always too cold, but that morning it felt like a freezer. End of quarter review meetings had that effect, everyone trying to hide mistakes, inflate accomplishments, and avoid being the next target. Tyler stood at the front with a laser pointer and that smug smile he wore whenever he planned to embarrass someone. He started with the usual, numbers, targets, charts that meant less than his tone of voice. Then he turned to me. "Your output has slowed," he said. I blinked. Slowed? My output had been carrying the department for weeks. "Can you clarify which metric you're referring to?" I asked, keeping my voice even, professional. He stepped closer, enjoying the tension. "You know, you keep asking for details like you don't know what you're doing wrong." A few people shifted uncomfortably. This wasn't feedback. It was performance theater. I opened my laptop. "Tyler, according to the analytics dashboard, I'm ahead of projection in every category except." He cut me off. "Oh my God, stop talking. Nobody wants a lecture." A couple of interns laughed nervously, not because they found it funny, but because the room demanded a reaction. Tyler turned back to the screen. "Maybe if you're so smart," he said loudly, "you should go work over there." He pointed out the window. Straight across the street. Straight at Luminex. A direct, unmistakable reference to our largest competitor. The room froze. One woman inhaled sharply. Someone whispered, "Jesus." Tyler smirked, loving the moment. "I mean it. Go work over there if you think you're better than this team." He thought I'd shrink. He thought I'd apologize. He thought he'd put me in my place. Instead, something harder and colder clicked into place inside my chest. Clarity. Silent, mental clarity. The kind that only comes when someone pushes you past the line they never should have crossed. I made a decision in 10 seconds. I closed my laptop. Slowly. Deliberately. "Where are you going?" Tyler asked, frowning. I stood. My hands didn't shake. My voice didn't waver. "You're absolutely right," I said. "I should work somewhere I'm respected." A ripple moved through the room. Someone almost dropped their pen. Tyler's smile faltered. "Sit down. We're not done," he snapped. "No," I said gently, "you're not done." "But I am." I picked up my laptop, slid it into my bag, and tucked my badge inside. Technically, I wasn't fired. But I was done participating in his circus. Tyler stepped forward. "You can't just walk out." "I can," I replied, "and I am." Then, without raising my voice, without creating drama, I added the sentence that ended his illusion of control. "I'm resigning." Effective immediately. The room went dead silent. The shockwave. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't slam the door. I simply walked out. And every step I took felt lighter. Behind me, Tyler finally realized the consequences of his mouth. Wait, hold on," he called out. But it was too late. HR had witnessed the entire exchange. Half the department heard every word. And I wasn't bluffing. Still walking toward the elevator, I unlocked my phone. Scrolled through LinkedIn. And opened a message I'd ignored 2 weeks earlier. It was from Luminex's senior recruiter. "Your experience is impressive. If you ever want to talk, we're hiring for a leadership track role." My thumb hovered for half a second. Then I typed. "Hi. I'm available today. Is the position still open?" They replied in 2 minutes. "Yes. Can you come in at 1 p.m.? It was 10:47 a.m. Perfect timing. The elevator doors closed. For the first time in years, I exhaled without tension. This wasn't impulsive. It wasn't petty. It was overdue. A resignation isn't an earthquake. But the aftershocks? Those reveal everything people try to hide. When I walked out of that conference room, it didn't feel triumphant. It didn't feel like revenge. It didn't even feel bold. It felt necessary. Sometimes the most powerful decisions aren't loud. They're simply the ones you finally stop postponing. What I didn't expect was how fast the fallout would begin, within minutes, not days. The walk that changed everything. As I exited the building, I felt strangely calm. Not euphoric. Not terrified. Just steady. Like I had been holding my breath for 5 years, and now my lungs finally worked again. The sun outside felt brighter than it should have been for a workday meltdown. People were rushing to lunch meetings, business calls, errands, everyone living their lives, unaware that mine had just split cleanly into before and after. I checked my phone. For missed calls from Tyler. 1 from HR. 2 from a coworker named Emily. And then a text popped up, almost on cue. "Tyler, come back to the meeting. We're discussing this as a team." Discussing what? My ghost? Another message came right after. "Tyler, you're overreacting. We can talk privately." I stared at the message and almost laughed. 5 minutes earlier, he had humiliated me publicly. Now he wanted to talk privately. That was Tyler's management style summarized in one line. Public attacks. Private backpedaling. I put my phone away. He could stew. Inside eastward, the shockwave. As I later learned from multiple coworkers, because office gossip travels faster than any official notice. The moment the conference room door closed behind me, the silence in that room turned heavy. Not awkward. Not uncomfortable. Heavy, like everyone realized something irreversible had just happened. A junior analyst named Priya was the first to whisper. "She really left." Another coworker said, "Tyler, what the hell?" Tyler snapped at him. "Don't start with me." HR rep Linda cleared her throat. "I witnessed what happened," she said carefully, trying to remain neutral. She has the right to resign at any moment. She's not serious, Tyler said quickly. She's emotional. She'll be back tomorrow. HR raised an eyebrow. You sure about that? She won't leave, he insisted. She's too invested. She won't just walk out. Linda replied. She already did. The room stiffened. That was the first crack in Tyler's invincible image. Meanwhile, I walked into Luminex. I arrived at Luminex 15 minutes early for the 1 p.m. conversation. Their lobby didn't feel like Eastward's. Eastward felt sterile, controlled, like it wanted employees to remember where they ranked. Luminex felt open. Warm. Thoughtful. Intentional. A receptionist greeted me with a genuine smile. Hi. You must be, my name. They're expecting you. Expecting me? The words alone made my chest tighten in a way I wasn't ready for. At Eastward, I had been easy to replace. At Luminex, before I'd even spoken a word, I mattered. The interview that wasn't really an interview. A senior hiring manager, Alex, met me in a glass-walled conference room. He shook my hand firmly. First off, congratulations, he said. I blinked. On what? He smiled. On having the courage to walk away. That's not easy. I felt my throat tighten. It had been less than 3 hours since I resigned. And somehow, someone saw it. Alex continued. We reached out because we've watched your work for a while. You stood out. You're consistent, meticulous, and innovative. Nobody at Eastward had ever said those words out loud to me. He gestured toward the building across the street, Eastward. You carried more weight than they knew. Something inside me, something sore and bruised and tired, softened. This wasn't flattery. He knew what he was talking about. Then he added, we're not going to grill you with standard interview questions. We already know we want you. Today is just a conversation. My breath caught. Want me? Luminex wanted me? After years of being replaceable? I nodded. Okay. Let's talk. So we did. For 2 hours. About workflow processes, departmental culture, project psychology, reporting structures, cross-team communication efficiencies, things Tyler never allowed me to have a voice in. Alex listened with real interest. He wasn't taking notes to test me. He was taking notes because my thoughts mattered. That alone was revolutionary. At the end of the meeting, he said, we'll send you a formal offer by tomorrow morning. But then he smiled like he'd been waiting for the best part. And just so you know, we're hiring for a lead role. And we think you'd be perfect for it. Lead. Me. My chest tightened again. 5 years of being silenced, minimized, undercredited. And a competitor wanted me to lead. Back at Eastward, Tyler unravels. While I was sitting in Luminex's bright conference room, Tyler was melting down. He'd left 5 new missed calls. 2 voicemails. 3 texts in a row. Tyler, come back so we can discuss your behavior. Tyler, don't leave your teammates in chaos. Tyler, we need to talk before you make the wrong decision. The wrong decision? The only wrong decision was staying under a manager who treated respect like it was optional. Another text came. Tyler, please call me. HR is involved. And just like that, the truth slipped through. Not apology. Not remorse. But fear. Not fear of losing me. Fear of consequences. Because Tyler knew HR had seen everything. He knew there were witnesses. He knew pushing an employee toward a competitor could put him under review. And he knew his behavior was finally, traceable. Coworkers start talking. At 3 p.m., my phone buzzed with a message from a coworker. Emily, what did you do? HR is in our hallway. She followed it with, "Honestly, good for you though. That was wrong what he did." Another message came minutes later from someone I barely talked to. "Respect. Truly." Someone needed to stand up to him. Then, "He's panicking. He thought you'd beg." I didn't know whether to laugh or feel sad for the 5 years I spent giving that man loyalty. HR's first move. At 4:12 p.m., I finally answered the HR call. Linda's voice was cautious. "We'd like to confirm your resignation," she said. "And ask if you'd like to formally report the incident this morning." Her tone was gentle, careful, HR language for "we saw what happened, and we know this is bad." I responded truthfully. "I don't need a report for closure. But I'm not retracting my resignation. You understand," she said softly, "that Tyler's behavior may be investigated regardless of your involvement?" I nodded even though she couldn't see me. "That's between Eastward and Tyler," I said. "Not me anymore." She exhaled, sounding relieved. "I wish you the best," she said, and I believed she meant it. Walking home with nothing. And everything. By the time I stepped outside, the sky had shifted toward early evening. People were still rushing. Cars still honking. Life still moving. But I felt still. For the first time in years, the noise of corporate chaos wasn't inside me anymore. It was behind me. I had walked out with no job offer in hand yet. No security. No plan. But I had something more important. My dignity. My boundaries. And the first breath of real freedom. What I didn't know then, what I couldn't yet imagine, was how deeply this single choice would ripple through 2 companies. And how far Tyler's downfall would go. Some leaders inspire loyalty. Others inspire silence, until the moment they lose control. By the next morning, everything that had felt abstract and emotional the day before, anger, humiliation, resignation, freedom, shifted into something far more concrete. The professional fallout had officially begun. And it wasn't happening slowly. It was happening all at once. Waking up to a new reality. I woke up feeling noticeably lighter. No dread. No mental rehearsing of conversations with Tyler. No imagining how he'd twist my work into his accomplishment. No exhaustion before the day even began. The absence of stress was so loud it felt like music. At 8:07 a.m., my phone buzzed. An email from Luminex. My heart sped up. I opened it. Subject, official offer letter, welcome to Luminex. The words blurred slightly as I read them. A leadership track role. A salary increase that made me sit down. Benefits I'd never had before. Clear promotion opportunities. A team of my own. I wasn't being hired. I was being invested in. Included with the offer was a message from the VP, Dana. "We see potential in you. Real potential. Not just in your technical skills, but in how you think, structure, and approach problems. We want leaders who lift people, not break them. And you fit that vision." I didn't realize I'd stopped breathing until I exhaled. In 5 years at Eastward, nobody had spoken to me this way. Nobody had articulated my value. Nobody had recognized what I brought to the table. Nobody had made me feel like anything more than a replaceable function. Luminex saw me in 24 hours. Eastward never truly had. I accepted the offer immediately. Back at Eastward, the warnings begin. As told through coworker messages that began flooding my phone. At 9:13 a.m., Emily texted. "HR has been calling people into one-on-ones all morning." Then, they asked me to describe yesterday's meeting. I told the truth. Followed by, "Tyler is furious. He slammed his office door earlier." Another coworker, Marcus, sent a message. "It's happening. HR is looking into everything." Everything. I replied, "What do you mean everything?" His response made my stomach flip. Multiple people have filed concerns about Tyler before. Not formal complaints, but notes. HR is connecting the dots. Then another. They're also reviewing your workload history. Someone pulled your performance data. My performance data. Meaning. The overtime. The solo projects. The restructuring work. The reports Tyler took credit for. The deliverables he assigned without acknowledgement. The metrics I carried. This wasn't just a single incident investigation. It was the unraveling of a long pattern. And Tyler had no idea how much evidence existed. The meeting Tyler couldn't spin. At 10:41 a.m., Emily messaged again. Oh my God. HR just spoke to him. He came out sweating. Another coworker added. He's trying to say you misunderstood his comment. Misunderstood. I actually laughed out loud. How does one misunderstand? Go work over there. While someone is pointing at a competitor's building in front of a full room? Then came this. HR asked him why he publicly attacked an employee during a performance review meeting. Then. He said it was a joke. A joke. Eastward's largest competitor didn't see it as a joke. HR didn't see it as a joke. The room of witnesses didn't see it as a joke. It wasn't humor. It was humiliation disguised as authority. And the facade was cracking. What coworkers finally admitted. By noon, I had 3 more messages. Priya. Just wanted to say. I should have spoken up sooner. I'm sorry. Marcus. He's been targeting people for months. Not just you. A junior analyst I barely knew. Thank you for leaving. It made me realize we don't have to tolerate this. Their words meant more than I expected. It wasn't praise. It was acknowledgement. And acknowledgement is rare in toxic environments. Because everyone is too busy surviving. The meeting with Luminex leadership. At 1 p.m., I arrived back at Luminex for an orientation meeting with Dana and 2 senior team members. They walked me through the project I'd be overseeing. It was massive. Complex. High stakes. Strategic. And, this is the important part, it overlapped with a project Eastward had been trying to win for months. Dana said it plainly. Your insight into Eastward's structure will help us avoid their blind spots. Not violate anything, just understand the landscape. She said it ethically, professionally. No secrets. No sabotage. Just strategy. But the reality was simple. My presence alone shifted the balance. Not because I brought confidential information. But because I brought competence. Competence Tyler had been stepping on for years. Tyler's worst fear arrives. At 2:40 p.m., Marcus sent the message that changed everything. Eastward's executives just found out you joined Luminex. It's official. The news circulated this morning. Then another message. People are whispering. Tyler locked himself in his office. Then, the one that hit like a quiet explosion. They're saying the Horizon Tech partnership is now leaning toward Luminex because of your hire. Horizon Tech. A multi-million-dollar account. One Eastward executives had been chasing for nearly a year. And now, Luminex had a competitive edge because the employee Tyler dismissed as replaceable, was on their side. The irony was brutal. And perfect. The email that ended Tyler's confidence. At 3:17 p.m., Eastward CEO sent a company-wide message. Emily forwarded it to me. The important line? Effective immediately, all management staff are required to attend a mandatory leadership review. This includes reassessment of communication practices, conflict management, and team conduct. Translation. We saw what happened. We're not ignoring it. Then came the line that must have made Tyler's blood run cold. Managers whose teams experience high turnover or conflict will be individually evaluated. Tyler's turnover rate? 4 people in 8 months. 3 reassigned. 1 quit. And then me. He couldn't run from this. He couldn't spin it. He couldn't charm his way through it. The company finally had cause to examine what had been festering beneath his polished exterior. Luminex gives me something Tyler never did. After the orientation, Dana walked me to my new desk. The view faced the city skyline, clean and unobstructed. She turned to me. "You made the right choice," she said calmly. "Not because you left Eastward, but because you chose yourself." Something tight inside me loosened. She didn't congratulate me for hurting Eastward. She congratulated me for saving myself. That difference? It mattered. Deeply. The silence before the biggest shock. That evening, as I packed up to leave, I checked my phone one last time. 3 messages from Emily. "Something's happening tomorrow. HR is still interviewing people. Tyler is scheduled for a meeting with the CEO at 9 a.m. A meeting with the CEO. That wasn't normal. Not for minor reprimands. Not for misunderstandings. Not for jokes. That was a sign. A sign that the damage was bigger than I realized. A sign that Tyler's unraveling wasn't just beginning. It was accelerating. A downfall doesn't start with failure. It starts with the moment people stop protecting the person who caused the damage. By the time Tyler walked into his meeting with Eastward CEO the next morning, the quiet hum of corporate normalcy was already disrupted. People weren't pretending not to watch. They weren't pretending not to care. They were waiting. Waiting to see what would happen to the man who had built his entire identity around the illusion of untouchability. Meanwhile, at Luminex, my day unfolded with surprising calm. Coffee, introductions, project outlines. While somewhere across the street, Tyler's professional world was being dismantled piece by piece. The CEO meeting, as witnessed by half the floor. At 8:58 a.m., according to Emily, Tyler straightened his tie, grabbed a notebook, and marched toward the executive wing like someone preparing to defend his honor. No one expected confidence from him that day. But Tyler wasn't used to being questioned. He was used to questioning others. He entered the CEO's office at 9 a.m. sharp. The door closed. People gathered, subtly, outside their cubicles. Because in corporate environments, sound travels, muffled voices, tones, the vibe of a room shifting. Emily texted me as it happened. "They're grilling him. The CEO is not calm." 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Then 20. Then another message. His voice is raised. He's saying he didn't think you'd actually leave. Then. He's blaming you. He's blaming the team. He's blaming misinterpretation. None of that surprised me. People like Tyler didn't take responsibility. They deflected. But what came next? That surprised me. HR brings the files. At minute 27, HR entered the CEO's office carrying a folder thick enough to be a semester-long course syllabus. Inside were accounts of his public humiliation tactics, his credit-stealing history, his belittling comments toward juniors, his retaliatory behavior when confronted, his manipulative performance reviews, his contradictory instructions, his habit of joking at others' expense, his targeted hostility when he felt insecure. None of these were formal complaints. People didn't trust him enough to formally document anything. But HR kept informal notes. Patterns. Inconsistencies. And yesterday's incident, the one witnessed by 8 people, was the tipping point needed to open the file officially. Emily's next message. They're reading him documented patterns. He looks sick. Then. He's saying everything is exaggerated. Then. CEO said, "We can't afford leaders who unravel teams." That line? It cracked Tyler's remaining composure. The first consequence, removal from projects. At 9:43 a.m., the meeting ended. Tyler didn't storm out. He didn't argue. He walked, stiff, almost robotic, out of the executive suite and straight to HR. Word spread immediately. He had been removed from all leadership-facing projects. Effective immediately. Pending further review. It was the dull, quiet kind of punishment that hurts more than drama, the kind that leaves a once powerful employee wandering hallways with nowhere to go and nothing to justify their salary. The entire analytics department felt it. Marcus texted. He's sitting at his desk staring at the wall. Priya added. He looks like he aged 10 years overnight. Something inside me, something I didn't want to acknowledge, felt pity. But only for a second. Because consequences aren't cruelty. They're correction. While he fell, I found my footing. At Luminex, my second day wasn't glamorous or dramatic. It was peaceful. My new team met me with warm welcomes, not competition. My manager explained expectations clearly without condescension. Boundaries were treated as necessary, not inconvenient. People asked my opinion and waited for actual answers. The absence of fear took some getting used to. During a brainstorming session, someone asked, "What do you think we should prioritize first?" I instinctively looked around, expecting someone else to speak. Not because I lacked ideas, but because Eastward had trained me that speaking too confidently made me a target. My new manager noticed my hesitation. "You don't have to filter here," she said gently. "We hired you for your judgment." Something warm and unfamiliar settled in my chest. This is what it felt like to be respected. After the meeting, Dana stopped by my desk. "Today was strong," she said. "Your thinking is strategic. You'll thrive here. No praise inflation. No theatrics. Just professional recognition. The kind that had been withheld for years." Across the street, a power shift unfolds. According to the steady stream of messages from former co-workers, the atmosphere at Eastward had shifted dramatically. Without Tyler's oppressive presence steering the department, people were talking more freely. Relaxing. Collaborating without fear. But the biggest shock waves came at noon, when a company-wide announcement was released. Memo, Leadership Reassessment and Interim Management Structure. Effective immediately, Tyler McDonnell will transition to an oversight role pending further review. Departmental operations will be temporarily redistributed. Interpretation. He was removed from power without being fired, yet. Emily wrote. People are whispering. They think he'll be gone by Friday. Marcus added. His office privileges were revoked. He's in an open desk now. The symbolism was brutal. A manager stripped of authority, privacy, influence, status. In corporate environments, that kind of demotion is the equivalent of ringing the death bell. The client meeting that sealed his fate. Later that afternoon, something happened that neither Tyler nor Eastward expected. Horizon Tech, the major client Eastward had been chasing, held a virtual meeting with both companies separately. Luminex's meeting? Smooth. Productive. Efficient. I wasn't leading the pitch, but I sat in as part of the strategy team. And I contributed meaningfully. Naturally. No tension. No fear. No navigating ego landmines. Everything felt right. But at Eastward? They stumbled. Marcus sent a discreet message afterward. Horizon Tech asked about you. They were surprised you weren't here. My stomach dropped. Horizon Tech had known me. Valued my work. Remembered me. He continued. When they found out you left, they asked who was replacing you. And Tyler didn't have an answer. Then. The execs were not pleased. Corporate deals don't fall apart over a single employee. But they do fall apart over poor leadership, instability, inconsistency, lack of talent retention. And my exit had exposed all of it. The second consequence: executive loss of faith. By 4 p.m., an internal email circulated at Eastward. Due to recent internal issues, project allocations will be re-evaluated. Translation: executives no longer trusted Tyler's department to handle major clients. Emily wrote. People think Horizon Tech is shifting to Luminex. Marcus followed with. This is bigger than we thought. I stared at my phone. It wasn't satisfaction that washed over me. It wasn't even vindication. It was the realization. My leaving didn't break the company. It exposed what was already broken. The silent evening that spoke loudly. Leaving Luminex that day, I walked past the window facing Eastward's building. The lights were still on. I could see the faint outlines of people still working, still scrambling. And one of the figures? Sitting alone. In a corner desk. Shoulders hunched. Head down. Tyler. Once a man who called himself irreplaceable. Now a man realizing he was never needed in the first place. Some might call it karma. I call it consequence. People recognize your worth only after losing access to it, but by then, it's too late to change the ending. 2 days after I started at Luminex, settling into a role built for growth, surrounded by people who valued my input, Eastward's unraveling accelerated beyond anything I had expected. And the deeper they fell, the more one truth became undeniable. Tyler had been the problem all along. I had simply been the first to stop enabling it. But consequences weren't done with him yet. Because soon, Eastward would make one final, desperate attempt to fix a problem years in the making. By trying to bring me back. Eastward goes into damage control mode. By Thursday morning, Eastward's executive team was in crisis talks. Horizon Tech, the multi-million-dollar client they'd been chasing for a year, had gone quiet after the awkward meeting. Not a follow-up. Not a clarification email. Not a request for revisions. And in the corporate world? Silence usually means we're going another direction. Emily messaged me. Execs are freaking out. They're trying to figure out how to stop the bleeding. Marcus added. Someone mentioned bringing you back. No joke. I didn't even know how to react. They hadn't valued me when I worked there. But now that their biggest account was slipping, suddenly my departure mattered. Suddenly I mattered. The CEO tries to save the sinking ship. At 10:15 a.m., I received an email from Eastward CEO. Not HR. Not the VP. Not a recruiter. The CEO. Subject: request for conversation. Hi, my name. I understand things ended abruptly during your final meeting at Eastward. I'd appreciate the chance to speak with you directly. We value the contributions you made during your time here and hope we can discuss possible future collaboration. Please let me know if you're available. Future collaboration? That was CEO speak 4. We made a mistake. Can you help unbreak what was broken? I stared at the email. Not angry. Not smug. Just resolute. Because apologies don't erase patterns. And second chances don't rebuild trust. Still, I decided to hear them out, not because I wanted to return, but because clarity is its own closure. I replied. I'm available at 3 p.m. for a call. Emily texted when she heard. The CEO? Girl. That's insane. But insane or not, the meeting was happening. The call, and the offer I never expected. At 3 p.m. exactly, the CEO logged into the call. His tone was different from the clipped, distracted voice I'd heard for 5 years. He sounded humbled. First, let me apologize for how things unfolded, he said. Your exit caused more disruption than we anticipated. I didn't say anything. Silence makes people speak honestly. We've realized you handled significantly more responsibilities than we accounted for, he continued. Your contributions were essential. And we should have recognized that sooner. Too little, too late. Then he exhaled. I'll be straightforward. We want you to come back. There it was. The confession. The desperation. The attempt to reclaim what they had dismissed. I asked, calmly. In what capacity? He answered without hesitation. A senior analytics lead role. Department oversight. Full autonomy on team structure. You'd report directly to the VP, not Tyler. Not Tyler. So they weren't just offering me a return. They were offering me a promotion. Authority. Separation from Tyler. Influence. Formal recognition. Everything Tyler insisted I would never deserve. I listened as he continued. We're prepared to offer a salary increase of 18%, plus a transition bonus. It was the biggest offer Eastward had ever made to me. And yet, my stomach didn't flutter. My heart didn't race. My hands didn't tremble. Because opportunities don't matter when the environment is toxic. And respect given too late feels like bargaining, not appreciation. When the CEO finished speaking, he asked, "Would you consider returning?" I smiled politely. "No," I said softly. "But thank you for the offer." He blinked. "May I ask why?" "Because I'm finally somewhere I don't have to fight to be seen." Silence. Not offended. Not defensive. Just silence. He nodded slowly. "I understand," he said. And he meant it. The reaction at Eastward. Emily messaged me 2 hours later. "They're stunned you said no. Execs thought you'd take it." Then, Tyler asked if they reached out to you. "When he heard you declined, he looked like he got hit." Marcus followed with, "He's not on speaking terms with half the floor anymore. People are avoiding him." Then another message that made me pause. HR escorted him out of the executive wing today. He's under formal review. Formal review. The corporate kiss of death. That meant his decisions were being audited. His behavior was being documented. His leadership ability was being questioned. And they had every reason to investigate. High turnover. Performance inconsistency. The Horizon Tech fallout. The public humiliation incident. Lost talent, me. Team morale issues. HR records. Tyler wasn't just losing ground. He was losing footing. Meanwhile, my growth at Luminex accelerates. While Eastward scrambled, my life at Luminex was unfolding in steady, upward steps. During the project planning session, I proposed a data integration workflow that optimized 2 internal systems. Dana paused mid-note and said, "That's brilliant. Do that." Nobody stole my idea. No one dismissed it. No one reframed it as their own insight later. I spoke. People listened. People built on my suggestion. That's what functional leadership looks like. After the meeting, a senior engineer approached me. "Glad you're here," he said. "We needed someone who actually understands structure." I found myself smiling without feeling self-conscious. I wasn't surviving here. I was growing. Eastward's last thread snaps. The next morning, Emily sent one message that summed up the end of an era. Horizon Tech officially signed with Luminex today. I read it twice. Then again. Eastward had lost the biggest deal they'd been working toward. And Luminex signed it. The timing wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't even a subtle hint. It was a verdict. And the jury was reality. Emily added. The CEO is furious. The VP is furious. They said losing you was the tipping point. Then, Tyler had a breakdown in the hallway. Not yelling. Not angry. He just looked empty. And finally, they might terminate him tomorrow. It was strange. Not joyful. Not triumphant. Just, full circle. He had dared me to go work for the rival. I did. And now the rival was beating them. Not because I sought revenge, but because I stopped letting myself be diminished. Walking past Eastward, the tables turned completely. That afternoon, I walked past the building on my way to lunch. Eastward looked smaller than before. Dimmer. Quieter. More fragile. And in a window 3 floors up, I saw a familiar shape. Tyler. Sitting at a shared desk. Shoulders slumped. Manager badge missing. Staring at his screen without purpose. He didn't see me. But I saw him. For a moment, I felt a pang of empathy. Then clarity. I didn't ruin his career. He ruined it by mistaking arrogance for leadership. My departure didn't break Eastward. My departure exposed what was already breaking. Revenge isn't something you deliver. It's something people hand to themselves when they underestimate the wrong person. The final act of this story didn't unfold in some grand showdown. There was no argument. No screaming match. No dramatic confrontation where one of us won with a final sentence. In real corporate life, downfalls are quieter. Slower. More procedural. More documented. Tyler didn't lose his career in a single moment. He lost it in every moment he thought he couldn't. The day Tyler was removed. The next morning began like any other at Luminex. Calm, structured, respectful, while across the street, Eastward's tension reached a breaking point. At 9:02 a.m., Emily sent a message. He's being escorted to HR. Escorted. Not walked. Not invited. Escorted. A sign no manager ever wants to see. 20 minutes later, another update. He's in a closed-door meeting with HR and the CEO. Then. They have a folder. A really thick one. I knew exactly what that folder was. Every instance he dismissed someone publicly. Every time he took credit for work he didn't do. Every remark he made at someone's expense. Every inconsistency between his words and actions. Every pattern HR had quietly documented. And finally. The incident that broke everything open. Go work over there. Because that wasn't a joke. It wasn't sarcasm. It wasn't harmless. It was actionable. A manager explicitly telling a subordinate to leave and work for a competitor? That was a corporate violation with legal implications. Tyler had handed HR the knife they used to cut his position open. The official decision. At 10:17 a.m., Emily sent the message that confirmed everything. It's over. He's being terminated. She added. They cited unprofessional conduct, misuse of authority, loss of client trust, and endangering competitive position. It was the most diplomatic way to say. He caused damage. He was the problem. We can't afford him anymore. Someone who once controlled people through fear. Lost everything because he couldn't control himself. The empty desk. By 11 a.m., Tyler was gone. Coworkers said his desk was cleared out quickly. His office keycard was deactivated. Security walked him out quietly, not like a criminal, but like someone whose services were no longer needed. And there, in the middle of the hallway, he paused. Not angry. Not defensive. Just stunned. For the first time, he had no one to blame but himself. He had built an identity around being irreplaceable. Now he was gone, and the company hadn't fallen apart. It had stabilized. His absence was a relief, not a loss. One coworker said something that stayed with me. He finally saw the truth. He wasn't feared. He was tolerated. And toleration evaporates the moment someone stands up to it. The email that made me pause. At 1:34 p.m., I received a message. Not from HR. Not from leadership. From Tyler. His email was short, but surprisingly, Human. Subject, I don't know what to say. I heard you were doing well at Luminex. I don't know if congratulations are appropriate, but I'm sending them anyway. I want to apologize for how things ended. I didn't expect you to leave. I didn't expect anyone to leave. I thought my way of leading was normal. I was wrong. Tyler. I sat with that for a few minutes. Not because it made me emotional. Because it made me realize something important. Sometimes people don't know they're hurting others until there's no one left to hurt. I didn't reply. Not because I was angry. But because the story was complete without a final back and forth. Closure doesn't require conversation. It requires peace. Luminex's future for me. The following week, my team and I finalized the strategic framework for the Horizon Tech project. My role expanded naturally. From a contributor, to a coordinator, to a strategic lead. I wasn't micromanaged. I wasn't second-guessed. I wasn't belittled. When I presented the framework in a meeting with senior leadership, Dana said, "This is the clearest roadmap we've seen. Excellent work. Praise isn't addictive. But recognition after deprivation? Recognition is healing." Over the next few months, I built a team from scratch. I mentored junior analysts. I helped secure 2 new clients. I represented the department in cross-company briefings. I received a performance acknowledgement in the quarterly report. But the most shocking moment came during a leadership development session when the COO said, "We're grooming our next generation of directors. And, my name, is on our radar." A director. A leader. Something Taylor never allowed me to consider. Something Eastward never even hinted was possible. Something Luminex saw in me immediately. A final meeting I never expected. One spring afternoon, months after leaving Eastward, I ran into Emily in the lobby of a cafe downtown. We sat together, catching up on work, life, and everything in between. Before we parted ways, she said, "You leaving changed this place. Seriously. After you resigned, people started talking. HR started listening. Policies shifted." Then she added, "You didn't just get out. You pushed the whole company to evolve." It was the closest thing to a legacy I'd ever imagined. A quiet impact. A shift in culture. A wake-up call delivered without trying. The moment that sealed everything. As we left the cafe, crossing the street, I glanced up at the Luminex building. The sun reflected off its glass facade. Clean. Bright. Strong. Then my eyes drifted across the road, to Eastward's familiar windows. Dull. Crowded. Dim. 2 worlds separated by a street. But really, they were separated by something much larger. The moment a manager dared me to leave. And I realized I deserved better. That single sentence, meant to belittle me, became the catalyst for an entire transformation. Not because of spite. Not because of revenge. But because of clarity. Sometimes the door someone tries to slam in your face is the one leading to the future you were meant to have all along. Final reflection, the real revenge. Revenge wasn't watching Tyler lose his job. Revenge wasn't Eastward scrambling for damage control. Revenge wasn't landing the role at their biggest competitor. Revenge was simpler than that. It was becoming someone whose success didn't depend on anyone like him ever again. Revenge was outgrowing the environment that tried to shrink me. Revenge was walking away from unhealthy leadership. Revenge was finding a place where respect wasn't negotiable. And the best revenge of all? Building a future where I never had to hear his voice again.